success is being at peace. If you could find some kind of way to be at peace with what you did or what you're going to do, that is successful. I've had peace in my life, and and I didn't realize people went all day without peace and didn't sleep at night and all that. Well, I try to do the right thing. I don't try to maliciously hurt anyone, so I could go to sleep at night, and I try to find peace. To me, success is being peaceful and loving what I do. Now, if I could get paid for doing this, I would be in heaven. If I could get paid, doing the real estate, because that's where my passion is, I would be in heaven. If I could get paid for writing, because I love to write, and I would really love to get back to writing, and I could give it to somebody, and they do something with it and pay me, and then I get paid for doing something I love, that is success. You're successful in life when you do what you love to do, because when you go to that work, there's so many people that put in 30 years with these big companies, every single day doing the same thing and hating it.
Making somebody else money.
Right. Because if you get paid $100,000, you best believe what you're doing, they're getting paid millions. So therefore, you need to understand the economics of yourself.
Yep.
So
self-value.
Yes, self-value, and we all are valuable. But you become devalued when you start doing something that you don't know or want to do. You may be sitting up there and be the perfect producer, and you sit up there, I want to go rap. Like, what is it, Michael Brown is up there, I don't know what he's trying to do, but the Bengals is bumbling and everything else. No, I mean, okay, you got the money, so what, you got money, but if you don't know how to be a coach or whatever, you hire a coach, so let the coach be the coach. Be where your expertise lie, and that calls for self-evaluation, and get the old pencil and paper and write down the things you love to do. Write down the things you're presently doing. And if you do what you love to do, money will start coming. That's what we need to start doing, just calling up people saying, I'm doing this now. And start saying, okay, well, I'll buy one, or I'll take one, or I'll use one, or can you use this? And, I'm telling you, economics is my background. I was going to get my PhD in economics, but it's so crazy. I don't know if I want to do that. I think I'd rather go and do the other thing I really do love is health, telling people about what they need to do for their health. And one of the reasons I'm so hyped today is because I took my CQ10, and CQ10 helps you with the energy and get the flow going, because my leg was feeling crazy. It feels a lot better now because I got the flow going. So things like, telling you about CQ10, telling you about the vitamin E. When you go in the store and buy vitamin E, don't get the one to say DL, because DL means man-made. Man, I always think they could do something God could do. That's why they made that money, paper. And now you're investing in all this paper. Stocks is paper. All this is phantom money. If you want to invest in something, and I'm not an investor, but we might need to invest in what God has for you, like gold and copper and platinum. That's God made. This paper, you keep on investing in the paper, and it'll vanish on you. And so we get ready to play this last song, but before we play the last song, if you're just tuning in, you missed a really good show. We're gonna. Is there any other things that you all want to talk about before we wrap it up?
I wanted to touch on something real quick, a point you made about just passion and finding out what you love and what you're interested in. I just feel like it's very imperative. I try to tell people with children, you don't even have to be a parent, but if you have a child or a niece or nephew, and you see that they have any inkling of a gift or talent, tap into it. Soccer, chess, piano, violin, fireman, doctor, lawyer, any, it could be anything. If they can remember stuff well, tap into that, develop that, cultivate it, nurture it, and and push them and stand behind your kids or your niece or nephew, because a lot of us out there, I know, we from Middletown, Ohio, and anybody that knows anything about that knows that it's rough there, and it's a lot. It's hard to find your way.
Yep.
Sometimes when you come from the hood or the ghetto, it's hard to even find any type of direction. What do I want to do? What do I want to become? Who do I want to be? So us as parents and as uncles and aunties and whatnot, if we find our family members and we see something in them, we gotta stand behind them. We gotta push them. We gotta support them and tap into whatever talent and God-given gift that they've been blessed with. I just wanted to touch on that real quick. I just feel like that's important because a lot of people don't.
That's
really.
one of the reasons why we are where we are. You know what I mean? Somebody told us, keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? You guys are on the right path. You know what I mean? Just don't ever stop. You know what I mean? That persistence. You know what I mean? And staying dedicated. And you know what I mean? That support system. You know what I mean? It's all there. My mom never said, I don't like your music or stop doing that or why I didn't come from that type of environment. We always had a good support system, and that's why we're strong individuals, you know what I mean, to this day, because they said be you. My father always told me be you, you know what I mean, don't be afraid to be you. So they said each one teach one. I pass that on to everybody else. Find sense of self and your purpose and pursue it, you know what I mean. Be aware and be conscious of what's going on around you and how it affects you. But, you know what I mean, it's 360 degrees, you know what I mean? You are your own entity. You have, things revolve around you just as, you revolve around everything else.
Okay. And, the bottom line to life is figuring out what you want to do and keeping toxic people away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be your very best friend you've been knowing from before kindergarten. And if they're toxic, if they're always talking something negative, girl, you can't do that. Girl, why you doing that? Oh man, I don't know why you into that. Stay away from them. I don't care how cool they are. If they are not part of your gold, if they're not a cheerleader in your life is getting ready to be too important to be wasting it around a lot of toxic people. And if you find yourself sitting down gossiping about people, because I've gone into environments where I didn't know anyone, and I listened to the conversation. And if their conversation is all about John or Jane or who doing who, and all this gossip or the what you call them soap operas, all that superficial stuff, and you're gonna let all that stuff come into your spirit and your soul, and you trying to write and become a star, whatever you do. You best believe those tennis sisters, the Williams sisters,
mm-hmm.
They spend a lot of time out there taking care of their business. They didn't get a chance to do all that other stuff that people do. They were out there getting their talent together. So whatever your talent is, that's what you need to work on. And if someone, and let's say if you want to get into writing, and someone called you and you say, boy, I got a writer's block. And they say, girl, why don't you just take 3 deep breaths and go ahead on and finish? Or come on, let's just go out and take a walk and then go back and finish. But if they say, come on, girl, I told you that stuff wasn't nothing. Let's go out and get a drink. Let's go find us some boyfriends, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You listen to what you're listening to,
mm-hmm.
because it's poisoning your system. Toxic people have killed me so many times. But I'm like the phoenix. I'll be like, she's dead and gone, ashes to ashes, and here I come again.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to come back. But it takes so much energy. Now, when I was young, I could come back faster. Now I've been like 3 or 4 days down in the ashes, but I'm coming back because that's just the spirit in me. I'm not going to let people just ruin me. But now I found myself to be isolated, and my prayer is this. Bring the people into my life that's going to help me, and I can help them. If you are the main person doing everything and everybody just waiting and laying on your coattail until you get yourself together so they could rise up and say, yeah, I'm a friend of. See, have you ever noticed people drop names, I'm a friend of this and I'm a friend of that, but what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And the women who say, I'm Mrs. John Johnson. I'm Linette Eady. I may be the wife of John Johnson, but I'm Linette Eady. I'm not losing my identity. Stop losing your identity. Find yourself